John from Erase the Gray here. Just to give you guys a little precursor on things. I'm going to take it back a little bit. We might actually get some people like our buddy Jeff Tomei, who actually produced and mixed the 27 Days record for us, to maybe do an interview or something. John Stepp, guitarist. Probably talk to him a little bit about this in later episodes and whatnot. I'm also thinking about getting a little more in depth with these things for a podcast that I'm thinking about starting. It's actually in the works now, where we'll get a little bit more in depth with some of the things that we got into, some of the shows we played, basically everything ETG. I've always been a musician at heart, in blood, whatever you want to call it. I've always wanted to be a singer as long as I can remember, and I know that passion is what kind of drew John and myself and the other guys together for the most part. I'd been in, ever since I was a little kid, in choir and getting vocal lessons and things of that nature, and so it's something I've always wanted to do. I just always wanted it. It was all I lived and breathed for music. I just wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to get up and perform. So tried a few different bands here and there, in which obviously the podcast will get a little more in depth with some of this stuff. So I ended up, doing this, that, and the other thing, and ended up meeting up with some guys that eventually, should I say, became Erase the Gray, at least some of them. The band was called Cabal. Don't look it up. It was horrible. It was not a good band at all. But it, got us out on stage and got us performing and, doing our thing. So after that, we kind of, we played a bunch of shows. And again, it wasn't very good. And it was just trying to hone our craft. And unfortunately, I started getting a little bit of an ego back then. Why, I have no idea, just because it was stupid. And of course, you always got those people that want to, blow smoke up your rear end. So those people, obviously, they just fed fuel to the fire. So, it is what it is. And my ego it definitely got out of control there for a little bit. Hindsight being 20/20, you look back and you go, man, I was an absolute asshole. In which I was. I'm still kind of an asshole, but not in that way anymore. So, so anyway, the band was doing this, that, and the other thing. And, there were certain people in the band that I had conflicts with, and I was trying my hardest to get just to get to the point where we were better. We were better. We had to keep getting better and better and better. And so I kept I kind of lost sight of the friendships and whatnot. But I ended up leaving that band, and then I got to actually go on tour with my buddy Chad Saliga. He was in a band called Switched that had just gotten signed to Immortal Records at that time. So Chad and I, being really good friends and going way back or whatever, I was just trying to do something different and get out of Dodge or whatever. And since they just got signed to Immortal Records, he asked me to go out and be their drum tech. Okay. I don't know how to play drums, didn't know anything about drums, but I just knew it was a chance to go on tour and do something cool. So Chad, being who he is, kind of took me under his wing and taught me how to do the job as a drum tech. And I got to tour all over the place with the band Switched. And it was a great time. A little side note, Chad actually went off to be a part of Breaking Benjamin for a little while. So congrats to him. So yeah, I went out and did my job and, toured and drum teched and everything, and then I ended up becoming the stage manager for them because I was busting my hump out there, and they saw that I, actually gave a crap of what was going on. But as I'm doing that, I'm enjoying the time. Now, I wasn't around my kids at this time, which sucked, and we were gone for like months at a time or whatnot, and so that sucked. That was hard to do, Yeah, I was out on the road with them, having a great time or whatever, but there was just sitting back behind the stage watching Ben, the singer, get up there and perform at, Ozfest and Warped Tour. And I really wanted to get out there. I wanted to be a part of the experience, as far as putting on the show, not just behind the scenes. So a couple of tours or whatever, I don't even know how many it was, a few tours actually, quite a few. I decided that I wanted to stay home. I missed my kids, and the pay wasn't the greatest in the world, but I also wanted to do something with music again, because I knew deep in my heart that that's what I was supposed to be doing. I knew it. I knew that's what I was supposed to be doing. So anyway, I stay home. I end up getting back in touch with the guys from Cabal, who, we weren't on the best of terms or whatever, but we ended up talking and kind of panning things out, and I get into those details in the podcast as well. So if you hear me saying that, just assume that I'm going to get more in depth with stuff. All right, got a hold of them. We hashed some stuff out, and we ended up getting back together. We kind of changed some roles here and there. Like certain people kind of did something else. I think the guitarist or the drummer went to guitar or something like that. I don't know. I drink a lot of beer, so some of these memories may be a bit fuzzy. So just give me a little slack on that. We started jamming again, and I learned a lot, by the way, while I was out on the tours with Switched. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to meet a lot of industry people, famous people, whatever you want to call it, and got some connections and kind of learned what it was at that point in time taking to be a successful band in the market at that point in time. So I told him that, I wanted to do things a little bit differently. I wanted the music to be different. I wanted, everything to kind of change from what we were doing before. And again, my ego was still a little bit out of control at the time, or maybe a lot of bit out of control. So we sat down and we started writing, but I knew we needed a great guitarist. I knew we needed an awesome guitarist to take things further, to help with writing and, solos and melodies and just the whole overall process. I needed that. We needed that, because it was never going to happen the way we were doing it, ever. Never, ever, ever was it ever going to happen. So we put out an ad, I believe, in like the Scene or some sort of paper. And you got to remember, this is back in like 2002-ish. I think we ended up putting an ad out, and we got a couple of hits, couple of bites or whatever. And then one guy in particular kind of stood out. He was from West Virginia, which I am originally from. My entire family's from down there. But he was from West Virginia. He was from not far from where I was from in West Virginia. And it just kind of seemed like, all right, maybe this might work out. So we invited him to a rehearsal, and I don't even think we just jammed. I think that's what we did. I think we got together and we just jammed. I don't think there were any songs that he learned or anything. And again, things could be a bit fuzzy here. So yeah, that is the day that John Stepp walked in and just blew our socks off. This guy comes walking in with this super long hair. So he comes in and he just starts ripping these solos and whatever, and he's super cool and laid back and whatever else. And that right there is pretty much what we wanted to do. We wanted him to be our guy. We wanted him to come in and help mold this band into something better. So lo and behold, John Stepp. So I tell you what, guys, I am going to pause for now. Hopefully I'm keeping you guys kind of intrigued. If I'm not, then I apologize, and you should have another beer if you're of age, and if not, no beer for you. So keep in touch with us here. Let us know what you think about it. Until next time, don't miss out. Episode 3 starts getting really good.